Hey, beautiful people. I'm your host, Chermelin, and you're listening to Between the Lines, a podcast that goes beneath the surface. Do you feel alone or like an outcast? My friend Providence will be sharing about his experience with these very questions and the daily victories God has given him. So the next voice you'll be hearing is Providence.
God as my victor. You know, from the time when I was a child, I was raised in the Adventist church, and I would be doing so many different things for church, but I never really had a relationship with God. I spoke like a child. I acted like a child. I understood as a child. When I was doing when we had Sabbath school lessons, I would read all the Sabbath school lessons on Sabbath so that during the week I wouldn't have to waste time reading Sabbath school lessons. I could just go straight to school. I didn't understand all these things. Then when I got to high school, freshman year, I had an experience with just a sermon that really spoke to me, and that evening I gave my heart to God. Fast forward a couple years, it was a bumpy road trying to figure all these things out, but luckily I had my cousin with me. Then junior year, he graduates. I'm by myself, having to figure out how to walk this path by myself. It was rough, but I realized it's not me. I have God by my side, and that was a victory. The senior year comes, and it's the pinnacle of my Christian experience. But you know how it continues to say in that verse, when I became a man, put away childish things? That's what it kind of feels like. Have you ever had an Elijah experience on Mount Carmel? That's what I feel like after going to Adventist schooling all my life, in Adventist high school, and coming to a secular university. It's so different. Elijah thought that he was the only one who hadn't bowed the knee to Baal. And sometimes in a school of 35,000 students, I feel alone. I feel like I'm the only Christian there. Maybe it's my job to reach all these people, but I can't do that. I'm not perfect. I'm still struggling with the things of my own. How am I supposed to... Vexing. That's how it feels. But I know that there is victory at the end of this road. 1 John 5:4 says, "For everyone born of God overcomes the world." This is the victory that has overcome the world. Our faith. I'm on a journey with God like Elijah. He has fed me as I ran away and became utterly vexed with all these new responsibilities. But I can see that he's bringing me back, you know? I know he's bringing me back. I see all these unnecessary things in my life dying. New things, new good things replacing them. Slowly, but surely. Until then, I can focus on the little victories through Jesus. They're not me. They're not me. I was able to find an Adventist group at our school. We're able to talk freely about just questions that people have. Get to understand other people's experiences, and we understand each other. Let's go smaller than that. I get to see spiritual people on campus. I was eating lunch one day, and a person next to me and their friend were talking about spiritual things. And he was wondering, he realized he needed help, but all these earthly things were not helping him in any way. And he realized he needed a higher power. He realized that higher power was God. And there I am sitting by myself thinking, well, I'm the only one to reach 35,000 students. There are numerous people of God, of different flocks, that I can get to know. Some of them happen to be in the same class I had my first semester. My teacher herself, my English teacher, was a Christian. My history teacher this semester is a Christian. I'm not alone. Let's go smaller than that. Ending my first year with a 4.0 GPA, which is what I asked God for if he wanted me to stay there and continue reaching people, as I didn't see any fruits. But God is seeing fruits that I can't see. Smaller than that, I was able to find a car to go to school. Smaller, finding the money through scholarships and to pay to go to this school so that my hardworking mom doesn't have to stress out anymore. Way smaller than that, waking up. Smaller, breathing. So many people don't have the victory right now over those small things. Waking up, breathing. It's trying times. But I noticed that life is not made up solely of the great noticeable victories. Life is made up of the small victories. And God's leading us back like he led Elijah back.
Just like Pravi, why don't you take some time today to recognize and write down the victories God has given you? Who has God placed around you to accompany you in your ministry? What resources has God blessed you with? Has he given you a new day? Did you just take another breath? Take this time to give God praise. Join us next week as we look at the one who can provide things that no one else can.